The first thing I want to be done is to get that piece of crap out of my ring. Don't just get him out of the ring, get him out of the WWF. Because I've proved, son, without a shadow of a doubt, you ain't got what it takes anymore. You sit there and you thump your Bible and you say your prayers, and it didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
And welcome back to Retro Wrestling Games Presents. I'm your host, Lex G, and with me, as always, is Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm super duper.
That sounds gross.
I'm super and duper.
So on this episode, we will talk about WWF Attitude for the PlayStation 1. Now, WWF Attitude was released in 1999 by Acclaim Entertainment for the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64. Later on, it was also ported to the Dreamcast, and there's actually a Game Boy Color game. That's wonderful. Now, guys, let's be objective here. And I know a lot of you are big fans of the Attitude Era, and I enjoy the Attitude Era in small doses myself. But we all have to admit something. This game is shit. It's dog shit. I'm sorry. The game is not good. It wasn't good in 1999. It's not good in 2017. It goes back to the controls. I shouldn't be entering missile command codes, Mortal Kombat type button entries to do a backbreaker. That shouldn't happen. It's awful.
Up, down, forward, up, upside, slash, forward, slash, half circle back.
Fuck that. Fuck that shit. The controls are just bad, especially for a wrestling game that's supposed to be hot and heavy.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be getting into it. And that sounded gross.
That's the sound of me getting lubed up.
That's wonderful.
On Gatorade.
Yes. So overall, the controls are shit. The visuals are shit. The game doesn't look good. It's not a pretty game to look at. And I know a lot of you are gonna say that it's the PlayStation 1, but come on, guys. There's other games on the PlayStation 1 that look better. Take a look at WCW versus the World. It's a better looking fucking game. This game looks like ass. There's other games that came out, and we want to compare it to shit. You want to compare it to No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, NWO WCW Revenge. They're not even fucking close. You want to compare it to Fire Pro? Or any of the All Japan or New Japan games that came out on the PlayStation 1? This game is the bottom of the fucking barrel next to both Hardcore Revolution and Anarchy Rules, who were made by the same company. So the game is shit.
Right.
The only redeeming qualities about this game is the music, because the music's pretty good. The roster is, Attitude Era goodness, which is great. And the commentary, although not good, it's interesting because it has Shane McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler in it. I don't remember them doing commentary. Maybe they did it on a Shotgun Saturday Night, or maybe a Sunday Night Heat. But no Jim Ross in the game, which is bullshit. It does have a creator wrestler. That shit. You can choose a voice, a theme song, and an entrance for your wrestler. You also have different attributes like strength, toughness, speed and recovery, charisma, and mat skills. And you get up to 10 points for each. Point limit is 36. Although you can unlock 39 if you want.
Here's a question for the game, though.
Yes.
As far as the charisma score goes, does anyone have a higher level score than Steve Blackman?
I think he's at -3.
He was one of our my group of friends, our favorite hapless guy. We used to all break into almost like a street corner a cappella thing of his music. We'd be like,
remember he had those sticks? And sometimes they would glow in the dark.
He was he's a guy who could kick our asses. That's fine, but jeez.
Yeah, he's fuck that shit.
Terrible.
Now, in terms of the roster, we'll briefly go over it. We have Al Snow, Billy Gunn, Bradshaw, too sexy Brian Christopher.
He is too sexy.
He is. Christian, D'Lo Brown, Dr. Death Steve Williams, Droz, Edge, Farouk, Gangrel, Goldust, Mosh, Thrasher, Jeff Jarrett, Kane, Ken Shamrock, Mankind, Mark Henry, Owen Hart, Road Dogg, Steve Blackman, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Big Boss Man, The Godfather, The Rock, The Undertaker, Triple H, Val Venus, X-Pac, and their secret characters, Chyna, Jacqueline, Jerry the King Lawler, Kurgan, Mark Merrill, Paul Bearer, Sable, Sergeant Slaughter, Shawn Michaels, Taka Michinoku, the Trainer, and Head, who only has a head. No, she has hands or feet, but no body. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's bullshit. Although, looking back at this WWF roster, how the fuck did they beat WCW? Holy fucking shit, it's a fucking thin roster. It goes to show you how over Steve Austin, The Rock, and The Undertaker were. Right. This roster is fucking thin as shit. It's awful. Fucking awful. It has different modes. Do I really want to get into them? I guess. It has a career mode, which allows you to wrestle as a WWF star. And you would start wrestling on house shows, and you would work your way up to Raw, then pay-per-views, and then eventually getting title shots. That's awesome. In terms of match types, there's triple threat, triangle, fatal four-way elimination, handicap, tough man, gauntlet, stable, battle royal, falls count anywhere, I quit, TKO, last man standing, 2 out of 3 falls, Iron Man, finishers only, first blood, Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, Survivor Series. That's a lot of match options. What the fuck's the difference between a TKO match and a last man standing match?
Right.
I guess they have a count to 10 on it. Like, come on. Finishers only? The match is won when someone performs a finisher? Fucking serious? That's a fucking joke. You can create a stable in this game, which is nice, I guess. If you want to recreate the Nation of Domination or the Union. Remember the Union? And the corporation, the corporate ministry, and
oh, okay, yeah.
The Union was a stable led by Mick Foley, and they came out with fucking 2x4s. I think Test and fucking Ken Shamrock was in it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Alright, guys, so that's WWF Attitude for the PlayStation 1. Do you get it? Get it? Get it? Well, that was a thing?
Yeah.
I didn't fucking get it. How about that? Fuck off. I think an interesting part of this game is when you turn the game on, it has a little in memory to Owen Hart. Owen Hart had passed away a couple months before the game was released, and obviously they couldn't take him out in time, so they had left him in there. And I just want to take a couple minutes out to talk about Owen Hart and his contributions to professional wrestling and give you guys some of our thoughts on it. So Matt, what are your thoughts on Owen Hart?
Owen Hart was one of my favorites. He was. I loved his technical style. I loved when he turned heel. I thought he was a fabulous bad guy, carrying the Slammy Award around. I think I've maybe said before in one of the times I saw it a live show. It was like a 6-man match, and my friend and I ran down to like ring. We were in our, I guess, late 20s, whatever. Ran down to ringside area, and I did the chicken thing, put him on my shoulders, made a sign, said, "Who's the shadow now, Brett?" And he pointed at us, and we like, oh man, that was just like, he pointed at us. We were watching the show when he died. It was just one of those things that even when Jim Ross said it, it didn't seem real. And I think he's one of those guys. You think, how far would he have gone? Because he was really, I know the Blue Blazer thing was kind of a step down, but he was in a business where guys could jump ship. I think he was just a fabulous wrestler overall. A lot of funny memories. The Slammy thing was hysterical.
Yeah, that stuff was great.
Yeah.
He was in a time when the WWF creatively wasn't at its peak in 1994 and 95. He was one of the few bright spots. I mean, that feud with Brett was fantastic, all the way from from that Survivor Series. We see the progression from Survivor Series to Royal Rumble to WrestleMania to the big main event match at SummerSlam inside the cage. And that was done extremely well and with lots of care. And I think his tag team with Yokozuna was awesome, because it's so ridiculous, but it's awesome. Even when he came back after the screw job as the Black Harts, Owen Hart, when he attacked Shawn Michaels, that was a really good moment, although they never really followed up with that. And yes, the Blue Blazer shit was fucking cheese, although I did giggle when they had Coco Beware come out as the Black Blue Blazer, because I thought that was funny. But that was cute. But he's someone that if he would have lived, would probably got a run with the world title.
Yeah,
most definitely. Probably a couple more runs with the IC belt. And it's sad to see from a selfish point of view, because obviously his effect on his family. The guy had kids and shit. He had a family. But from a selfish wrestling fan point of view, it was like we missed out on another maybe 5 to 7 years of Owen Hart. And you can imagine the matches that he would have had with Brock Lesnar and with Kurt Angle. And we missed out on a lot of that stuff, unfortunately. It's one of the biggest tragedy, if not the biggest tragedy in wrestling. And a lot of people say he should have been up there, doing the stunt. And I agree with it to a certain extent, because why are you going to do that kind of stunt for a mid-card comedy angle? It makes no sense. If you're going to do it for like a main event angle, like Shawn Michaels did it.
In the zip line.
Yeah, and that was a main event fucking angle he was doing with Brett. Sting did it, but Sting was the top guy in WCW. It made no sense for him to take that kind of risk and for the WWE to put him in that kind of environment if it wasn't going to be for a top flight money making main event feud. It's a comedy fucking angle. You know what I mean? So, he shouldn't have been up there. Bottom line.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, everyone loves Owen. No one's ever said a bad word about him, for the exception of Steve Austin. But that's more Steve Austin kind of being a douche about it. Steve is still upset that Owen broke his neck on that pile driver.
Yeah.
SummerSlam 97, the Meadowlands. But if you go back and watch that match and watch other Steve Austin matches prior to that, that's Austin's spot. He calls that spot. I've seen him do it with Steamboat on numerous occasions. Steamboat did it the right way. He landed on his knees, not on his butt. But to me, anytime someone brings up Owen to Austin, he kind of has some sort of resentment for him. And I kind of understand it, because Austin could be still wrestling at this point, especially when they're bringing back 50-year-old guys to main event WrestleMania. So Austin didn't miss out on quite a bit of money. But for Christ's sake, the guy died. You know what I mean? My opinions on Austin have, over the years, have gone down. I'm one of the biggest Steve Austin fans of all time. Watched him from the USWA until until he ended his career. So I watched it from start to finish. He was one of the guys that I watched from start to finish. And the more I listened to him, and when I listened to his podcast and then other interviews and that kind of stuff, the more I find him unlikable. So, I take whatever he says with a grain of salt at this point. I'm still a fan of his work, but
yeah,
as the dude, I just find him more and more unlikable as years go on. And that's, for one of your heroes to become unlikable is sad to see, for me.
Right.
But Owen was, in terms of the ring, I don't think there was anyone that could match him fucking bell to bell at the time. Like, imagine a feud with him and Jericho.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Him and Benoit. I mean, him and Benoit had matches in Stampede, but on that fucking stage, or matches with Edge and John Cena, and he was such a good worker. Such a good heel. Even his matches with Mr. Perfect while he was in Blue Blazers were good, for the exception of that WrestleMania 5 match, which wasn't that great at all. But I think Owen will always be remembered as someone that loved his family, someone who was a really good professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Good on the stick, good in the ring. Overall a good guy. Notorious for his ribs he would pull on people.
Yeah.
Notoriously cheap. He would ride to the matches with fans to get a free ride. Him and Jeff Jarrett used to go to like Planet Hollywood and tell people that, we're gonna bring all the big stars, like Steve Austin's gonna be there and the Undertaker's gonna be there, so they get free meals and shit. Because he was saving all his money for his family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being cheap on the road. They used to have a contest between him, Steve Austin, and Mankind about who can spend the least amount of money on the road. There'll be like 8 guys. These guys are main eventers. In WWF, there's 8 of them fucking in the fucking hotel room, sneaking in trunks of cars and shit. So, but that goes to see his personality, and he's like he's just a little shit. You know what I mean? He's like, you got me. So I always thought those are like really cool memories, with Owen, and the slammy things were awesome. He would have like the 3 slammies and the 2 title belts, and be ridiculous, and he was like he was everyone's kid brother.
Yeah.
Annoying, slightly obnoxious, but you love him regardless. So
yeah.
I think that's Owen in a nutshell. So, but Matt, if you had to pick one Owen Hart match to claim as your favorite match, which one would it be?
Oh boy, I think where he beat Bret.
WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, that match. Maybe not their best, but just for having him beat him, it was a really big moment. It really helped solidify him. I mean, in so many years in the past, that thing would have been Bret beating the brother.
Yeah.
Good guy triumph, but
and the way they did it was so amazing. So they had Owen go over clean. This is WrestleMania 10. So Owen goes over clean, beats Bret, but later on in the show, Bret wins the World Championship from Yokozuna, and you see Owen just pissed.
Yeah.
So he got his victory, but it's tainted now because Bret went on to win the championship.
Yeah.
And and I think that feud leading up to SummerSlam, when they brought back Jim Neidhart, he sided with Owen, and they had Davey Boy, who sided with Bret. And then they worked it all the way until Survivor Series, where when Bret had the match with Backlund, and Backlund has him in the crossface chicken wing, and Owen comes out and he pleads with his mom to throw in the towel. Please, Mom, I don't want Bret to get hurt. I don't want Bret to get hurt. Please throw in the towel. And his mom finally throws in the towel, and then he's like, I got you. He's like, it was my plan all along. I screwed Bret. That's awesome. So
enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Remember when he's in the Nation of Domination for no reason?
I thought Owen used to say that.
Yeah, he did say that, but he was in the Nation while he said it. They had Owen Hart in the Nation Domination. It's ridiculous.
WWF logic.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? On a lighter note, did you hear that they're making a pornographic parody of the Montreal Screwjob?
What?
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
So we'll find out if Brett really screwed Brett, or if Vince McMahon screwed Brett.
Oh no.
Shawn Michaels screwed Brett. So we'll find out. So, that's ridiculous. That's just much like the Sunny movie. It's gonna have to be a curiosity for me, because I might have to just watch it to see how ridiculous it is.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be on YouTube in no time.
Oh, it'll be everywhere. So that's awesome. So guys, we are officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, I'm Lex G. Have a good night. Have a good night.